Bitcoin. There's no difference in the base case to own Bitcoin. It's still unconfiscatable. It's still tick-tock, new block every 10 minutes. It's still separating state from money. It's still $1 trillion asset, back up around $1 trillion, heading to 10 trillion. It's still better than gold.
Number of transactions have speeded up. Hedge funds are back in to start buying this thing. And Jimmy, when you walk into Burger King, you can't buy a Whopper with a bar of gold. You can buy it with some Bitcoin, though, in a little bit.
Also, only a tiny percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy the video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video.
Awesome day on the Bitcoin market. You know, the altcoins got slaughtered, as they do periodically. They need to weed out the jokers, the Elon Musks, the Dave Portnoys of the world. You know, a few years ago we had a whole nother group of psychotic shitcoiners, and they got blown out by the 2017 crash. Their lot got blown out by the 2020 crash of early first quarter. And that's what shitcoiners are good for. They are cannon fodder. Doge obviously got slaughtered, down 50% from the Saturday Night Live Elon Musk high, as we predicted. It's really business as usual. Bitcoin, there's no difference in the base case to own Bitcoin. It's still unconfiscatable. It's still tick-tock, new block every 10 minutes. It's still separating state from money. It's still $1 trillion asset, back up around $1 trillion, heading to 10 trillion. It's still better than gold. So a lot of people look at this drawdown and they apply legacy financial thinking to it, like it has meaningful in some way outside of what we know to be true about Bitcoin. And of course, it's meaningless. I think we're going to hit a new all-time high for Bitcoin by June 4th, which is day one of the Miami conference staged by Bitcoin Magazine. They've got the agenda out. It looks exciting.
So it's also interesting because, you know, today, I mean, you mentioned the altcoins, but I have to say Bitcoin had its first ever $10,000 candle. You know, there was like some of us, we kind of thought that maybe that first $10,000 candle would happen on the way up, but this happened on the way down. Max was outside sunbathing, you know, getting his tush nice and tan for Miami. And you know what happened? I was inside. I had had 2 cold brews, was jacked up on coffee. And then what happens is, like, you know, it's going down and down and down and down and down and down rapidly. And I was a little bit, you know, I was jonesing, I have to say. I was like, you know, like it felt like the old days, like when I was a newbie with spinach hands and scared. Like it felt pretty, the adrenaline was rushing through me. And I'm going to show people, because I did, of course, you know, what happens with these sudden moves, like either up or down, $10,000 sort of candles. What always happens is everywhere you want to buy, you can't buy. So I'm going to quickly, I made this little video of me smash buying all the way down, and it kept going, you know, from 43,000 yesterday. I was like, yeah, I got 42.5, and then it just kept going down and down and down. Yeah,
heading to a new all-time high in the next 2 weeks.
Well, the thing I wanted to say, okay, I have my 2 margaritas here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of needed, you know, I was like, the adrenaline was overwhelming me, and I thought, you know, it might be the hospital for Stacy. This is, I haven't had this much excitement in a long time, at least like 2 weeks. And so, you know, the fact is, the thing I was really curious about was how Michael Saylor was going to deal with this, because he is obviously the Giga Chad, right, of the Bitcoin space, the superhero of the Bitcoin space. And what I was curious about was how he was going to handle his first Bitcoin style correction, right? And was he going to be like spinach hands like Elon Musk or Dave Portnoy, or was he going to have the diamond hands? Well, I'm going to read you his 3 tweets so far this morning during the whole crash. First, of course, you got to whip out the Nietzsche. Quote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." That is Friedrich Nietzsche on Bitcoin, he says. Then he tweeted, "I'm not selling," in response to documenting Bitcoin, asking, retweet if you're holding, hodling Bitcoin. And then finally, Michael Saylor tweeted, "Entities I control have now acquired 111,000 Bitcoin, and I have not sold a single Satoshi. Bitcoin forever."
Yeah. Totally predictable behavior by Giga Chad. He's trying to accumulate as many Bitcoin as possible. The Nietzsche quote of, he's saying that if you have a why, it doesn't matter the what. So he's got a why. The why is why wake up in the morning? Why live? Why breathe? Why be on this earth? And the answer is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. It doesn't matter how you do it. So if there's a crash and that's how you do it, then that's how you do it. But the why is certain, and the how is day to day. It changes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is like, compared to previous crashes, the why and the how are so much easier now because of groups like Orange Pill Podcast Telegram group, t.me/Orange Pill, the online Bitcoin community. They really prepare you for this sort of stuff and walk you through it. There were a few panic attacks in our Orange Pill Podcast Telegram group, but by and large, the vast majority of people walked the panickers through it. Back in 2011, 2013, I posted a story from 2013 Los Angeles Times where they were basically, see, we told you so, like Bitcoin has crashed from $600 down to $200, and you imbeciles should have listened to us. Don't you feel like a jerk now? And
well, to continue on this why versus how theme and why, so let's apply that to the altcoins: Ether, Cardano, XRP, and various other altcoins. And the question is, you're out there floundering. Dave Portnoy, he went, as I predicted. I said this when he first got into Bitcoin. I was one of the very few people on Twitter to say, with some flaky, nonsensical, I forget what it is. There's thousands and thousands of them, but he's trading down to the level of his own degeneracy. He's basically a degenerate. So you get what you deserve. If you buy Bitcoin for 10 years like us, that's what we deserve. If you're Dave Portnoy and you're a degenerate gambleaholic, kind of in denial about your shitcoinery, you get what you deserve.
So, of course, on top of it, we also have news about Cathie Wood of ARK, and also news about Justin Tron, Justin Son of Tron, which we'll cover. But Cathie Wood, of course, one of the most celebrated fund managers out there. She runs the ARK Investments, a series of ETFs, and she was a very early advocate on Wall Street of Bitcoin and Tesla. So she was on Bloomberg News this morning, of course, because to report her thoughts on the, it was like 20-something% correction, let's call it, dip in Bitcoin. And she reiterated her call that she confirmed when she was asked by the Bloomberg host, like, do you still believe this is going to 500,000? And she confirmed, yes, we still reiterate this call. We believe this. And she addressed that whole energy FUD, because the energy FUD is about, China in particular. And she said that's bogus. And in fact, our data shows that 50% of mining out of China comes from renewable energy. And of course, right now they're shifting into the rainy season in the southern area of China, and they're moving all of the equipment down there in the next week, I guess. So we could possibly see a decline in the hash rate as they take all their miners offline from Inner Mongolia and move down to the south of China, southern China, for the hydroelectric, which of course is renewable.